I'm currently I took pictures of it when the only bad thing about these is there's no music. Like normally when we have television, you've always got like a little music.
Well, yeah, earlier it was Brent actually playing the piano.
I didn't think I would drive over. I thought we should just play it on our phone. Because when I was looking at the old videos, it's like, you just get used to always having a little music.
Yeah,
But we didn't have the last on set or
So that highlights.
when is has this packet been mailed?
I don't think so.
Okay. You can tell them to watch.
No, I don't think it's good.
She's, yeah. Yeah, I remember she had a target arrival in June. And we had almost all of them do their schedules. I think we're missing 150. From the June 1 deadline on the schedule.
They just started this week.
Is that pretty
They're great.
Yeah, because the high schools are still, some of their graduations are in two weeks. So they're in the middle of exams and
Any guesses about what?
Are you willing to share it? The sound.
Oh, yes, would be compared to.
I don't know, this tweets, that live chat we did last week, I remember Katie told y'all, it was like, one time we had 45 people sending, that were actively submitting questions. We had 45 unanswered questions. I took a picture of all of us doing it because
Actually, that's we should have a strategy for that. So if we got a question, I have no idea the answer.
Yes.
What should I say? Should we direct them out of order?
I don't know, because we don't have that.
Are you like with the trainer?
Yeah, our coaches work, so the clinic also has the answer.
I mean,
What we could do is say, I don't know the answer, but we'll have them keep looking at it, I'll chime in there. Yeah. And that way we can have it like in notes, or just send it.
it's all we know.
Yeah. So in other words, create a video version, so we'll get back to you.
Undersized.
I'm also.
But any questions asked, she's gonna get, so maybe that's the thing, we talk to her.
That's not me.
If there's a question that comes up, she can, it's kind of something else that maybe we look at it together as a group, kind of, because she's making it out loud.
It's not that we call it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. On the camera. It shows the camera. But it's not showing the
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
what is in the camera. Broadcast for live video.
You're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's other, that's a great question
Right.
for
Is it
my
possible that
office.
when this was created, there's a?
But there may be, I mean, she's gonna be getting,
Very early.
we're gonna be filtering through. Have you seen the questions that are coming out?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
we'll
just
be
judging if
filtering.
they're even
So
in.
there's a way for us to communicate back to her.
I don't think so.
As long as we keep track of it.
That's what happened last time, remember the link was attached to his phone?
I mean, I think like
And he had made the link.
things that like
I
I
think last time we made them,
those types of
you made them unlisted from our public, because they were messing up the index, and you still had to go back in and mix this up, so it's this time. We've done this all day long from the other account, and it's one time.
It's supposed to start at 8 or
No, it's live.
I'm not muted. So you're here, it's a broadcasting audio.
Yeah.
So if it's broadcasting audio, it seems like it should be broadcasting. There's no other option down here. other than-
Present to everyone.
That shows my screen,
Has already been asked and it's on.
and then the
So
other
that would be
option is
like
broadcast.
Let's keep the transcription like chat.
right, welcome. We are here in the Mosley Center, the Student Center, which is where you'll spend a lot of your time. We're so happy to have you joining us tonight. We're going to be talking about learning at Elon, and we'll go ahead and introduce ourselves. My name is Marley. I am a rising senior here. I'm a marketing and international business major, and I am involved in new student orientation, and I will pass it on to you.
Thanks. Hello. My name is Jeffrey Coker. I'm a biology professor, and I'm the director of the Elon core curriculum. On behalf of the faculty and staff, just want to welcome you to Elon. Can't wait to see you in August.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lauren Brown. I'm a rising junior here at Elon, majoring in exercise science with a minor in neuroscience. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm currently on the women's basketball team here at Elon. I'm an RA, and I'm also a member of the Elon Brain Care Journal Club.
Hey everyone, my name's Evan Skloot. I'm a rising senior from Westchester, New York, a psychology major and leadership studies minor. A few things I'm involved in on campus, new student orientation with Marley. I'm an honors fellow, a tour guide, and I'm involved in fraternity and sorority life.
Hi everyone, my name is Katie Burr. I'm the director of new student and transition programs here at Elon. So I have the privilege of working with these folks to help plan for your arrival, which we're very excited about. Not only helping you think about some things over the summer, but also then when you get here in the fall. So like Dr. Coker, on behalf of all the staff here in Student Life, we're very excited to meet you in August and hope that you find this helpful.
So thank you again for joining us. We're going to be chatting about learning at Elon, but feel free to send in questions as we're going, and we'll get to those at the end. So like I said, learning at Elon. Evan, why don't you go ahead and talk to us a little bit about how that goes, inside the classroom, outside, just what's it like to be a student here?
Yeah, definitely. So first, inside the classroom, as you probably know, and if you don't know, I will tell you, small class sizes at Elon really allow you to cultivate relationships with your professors, which is really great way to engage with the material that you're learning, because it's really great getting that individualized attention, whether it's inside the classroom, during office hours that every professor has to either talk about the content, talk about assignments, just to chat and to get to know them. That's been something that I think Elon students really take advantage of here. In the classroom, beyond the lecture and note-taking, PowerPoints, that most classes have a certain component of, Elon professors really do a great job of supplementing that with engaging discussion and presentations and group projects and ways to look at the material beyond that lecture and PowerPoints and things of that nature, which is a really, not only a great way to make sure you're paying attention, but also to learn that material in different ways. Speaking of different ways, something that Elon does really well and that we pride ourselves on is learning outside the classroom. And we'll talk about the Elon Experiences later in the webcast. But learning outside the classroom is what really separates Elon from other institutions. And that comes about in serving the community, whether that's Burlington, the Alamance County community, as a global citizen, studying abroad, doing community service, doing research, and involving yourself in one of Elon's 200+ organizations. Just involving yourself outside the classroom and learning outside the classroom is really what Elon does well, and is really what it's like to learn at Elon.
Yeah. So you mentioned the engaged learning and that sort of idea. And Dr. Coker, could you just touch on that from the faculty's perspective and that point of view? Sure.
Well, that was a great answer. So I hardly have anything to add, but I'll say a few things from the faculty point of view. Engaged learning is an active process. It requires responsibility on the part of the students. And ultimately, I think it's about getting the most out of college and the most out of an Elon experience. So maybe I'll try to imagine a day of an engaged Elon student. You all tell me if I get this right. So before you go to your class, there's probably some reading or some assignment that you have done well in advance, maybe a little reflective writing related to that reading. So you show up and you're ready to go. So you're mentally ready to engage at a deeper level. And then when you get there, as Evan said, there might be a little lecture, a little information push there, but it'll probably be something more complex than that. And you'll be expected to interact, to discuss, to in a more interactive fashion, so that the great ideas that come about, they might be from your professor, but they're as likely to come from other classmates or from you. So it's a different sort of a learning model. Then maybe at the end of class, maybe you want to stroll to the dining hall with 2 of your classmates to talk about it further. Maybe after that, you've got a student organization meeting to engage further. Maybe after that, you want to go to a lecture from some Pulitzer Prize winner that we happen to have on campus that day, and followed by a group meeting to work on a project. So altogether, it's getting the most out of college while you're here.
Yeah, I think that's so true. That continuous discussion of things that we talk about in class is very evident here. I know I experience that with my friends, I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah. So in terms of in the classroom, we have the Elon core curriculum. So could you just touch on that a little bit and let our new students know what's going on with that whole idea of the Elon core curriculum?
Sure, it's in and out of the classroom. So the Elon core curriculum, as you all know, is the set of courses and experiences that are shared by every Elon undergraduate. So it helps to make sure that Elon graduates are well-rounded human beings, generally speaking, ready to enter the workplace, ready to be effective citizens, and that kind of thing. So we really want Elon students to have a wide range of sort of transferable skills. So able to solve problems using a variety of different tools and skill sets, the ability to do research, the ability to work in groups of diverse people, to communicate effectively in writing and orally, to have control of disciplinary knowledge from a variety of different places. So your major is really important, but it's not enough. So there's a larger set of things that we think are important. Often you'll hear this referred to as the liberal arts, and so that together with your major makes for a better overall college experience, makes you better prepared afterwards, we think. So for first year students, you'll first engage with the core curriculum through 3 courses that we call the first year foundation. So there's a first year writing course, a math course, for most people that would be statistics, for a few calculus, and then a signature Elon course called the Global Experience that every student will take as a first year, in their first year.
Yeah. So we said that this is a shared experience that all Elon students have, but obviously it's unique for each student because different professors are teaching and people are getting different things from the experience. So Lauren, could you just talk about maybe your first year experience and kind of those courses that you had to take the Elon core curriculum?
Definitely. I know specifically statistics. Coming in as a first year student, I was not excited about taking statistics. I took it in high school and it was just not my favorite class. And I had a professor, Professor Zarin, and she just made learning just so much fun. It was just so different from what I expected. I went to her office hours, as you spoke on earlier, a lot, and we just developed a relationship even outside of the classroom. She started coming to my basketball games. She ended up coming to our conference tournament, and I ended up doing really well in the class and just had such a completely different understanding of the material.
Yeah, wow. Evan, do you have any sort of unique experience in that sense?
Yeah, I can talk about a learning experience from my first year. This one's outside the classroom. So the first time I went and did service in Burlington, which is the surrounding area, I went to Allied Churches, which is home of the only food pantry, now the only food pantry in the area. And so they need a lot of service. And so when I went there for the first time and I saw this need and there's poverty and hunger surrounding this beautiful university and this incredible institution that we go to. And it really made me take a step back and think, wow, there's a reason why Elon stresses civic engagement and community service and that responsibility, because we do have a responsibility as students and members of this community. We're members of this greater community, and we have that duty to give back and to help people who may not be afforded the opportunities that we do. And I just, you don't know that coming in and looking at Elon, looking at all the great amenities and opportunities that we have. It takes that experience and going out into the larger community to really understand that need.
Yeah, definitely. I think that desire to get that extra knowledge and the real world experience is something really unique to Elon students, and I think really strong presence of that on our campus here. So along with that, we have the 5 Elon Experiences. So Katie, do you maybe want to just briefly introduce what those are and what that means? And then maybe we can talk about some of our personal experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have the 5 Elon Experiences. They're sort of the hallmark of an Elon education. We'll talk a lot more about these in orientation in August when you get here. Students are required to complete 2 out of the 5 Elon Experiences, and they are study abroad or study away, internship, leadership, service learning, and undergraduate research. And we have many students who do well more than 2. Some of them even do 5. And a lot of first-year students actually engage with mostly service learning or leadership. And so as Evan and Lauren and Marley, as we've all said, they are really meant to help supplement that learning outside of the classroom. And so that's something that we think is valuable at Elon, something we think is really important. And something we find is really a reason why students choose to come to Elon, because they're excited about doing all of those different experiences. So again, we'll talk a lot more about that in orientation, about kind of ways that you can complete those experiences and what they mean. But I think a great way to learn about them is, like Marley said, for y'all to share your experiences. So I know 2 of you have studied abroad, 2 of you are doing research. So I'm going to talk a little bit about study abroad, and that's one of the common questions that we get. So maybe start with that.
Sure, I'll go ahead and talk about my study abroad. So I was just abroad in the fall in France, and I was in an international business program, which is one of my majors. It was such an incredible experience, and I am not even sure if it was the fact that I was in France that made it such a learning experience, or what I learned coming back to Elon's campus and reflecting on my time that I spent when I was in France. I was able to see how much I grew as a person and how much more excited I was about learning and about getting to know the world around me. And there's so much more outside of Elon and outside of college that it's kind of hard to remember those things when you're here. But once you take a step out and come back, you really can reflect on what it means to be not only an Elon student, but also a global citizen and a member of the community here. So that being in France was probably one of the highlights of my Elon experience so far. Evan, I know you were just studying abroad too.
Yeah, so I was abroad in London in the fall, and I think Marley, you said it perfectly. That was definitely the essence of my abroad experience, was that taking a step back and reflecting. There's so much more than Elon and college, and also America. Just stepping at being in another country. I've never traveled before, really. So it was my first time away. I got to see some places that I never thought I would see as a college age student. But really, I think the phrase critical thinking is thrown around a lot. And sometimes you're just like, what does that mean? And I think study abroad is a really good example of how you can become a great critical thinker. And Marley said it perfectly. And you're thinking about what it means to be an Elon student, what it means to be an American, what it means to be a global citizen, and thinking about those things actively and reflecting, and not just letting your daily life go on and not thinking about these things. That's something that study abroad really helped me do. It really helped me take a step back and think about what my daily life looks like, what growing up in middle to upper class America and going to a private school and being in America, what that really means. And studying abroad has really helped me look at from different perspectives. And it was just amazing to see so many countries in Europe and experience college in another setting.
Yeah. Lauren, why don't you tell us about one of the other Elon experiences and talk about your research project?
Of course. This summer, I'm participating in the summer undergraduate research program here at Elon. I'm working with a mentor through the exercise science department. I'm going to be studying concussions, looking specifically at gait and balance. And I'm going to be testing incoming freshmen to do baseline testing. And then after they have been diagnosed with concussion, they come back in, and I'll just do testing on their gait and balance and different things that can be affected. I'm going to be presenting sometime a surf day, so that'll be extremely exciting. I'm really excited about that.
Wow.
And it's a really unique opportunity just to have a lot of hands-on experience. I know just research is really, you never know what comes up. I've already experienced so many different things, and we just started, so I'm really looking forward to the opportunity.
That's a really cool experience.
It is.
One thing mentioning about the research part, I think a lot of students show up not sure that that research is for them, maybe because of stereotypes around that. I don't know if you have ever seen employer surveys about what employers value whenever you get out of college, and research is always right at the top of that list. So for those who might not feel connected, maybe you should. Maybe you should.
Yeah. Some students also have, unique circumstances where they might combine some of these experiences. And I'm also an alum. I didn't mention that, but I studied abroad in London and did data collection for my undergraduate research when I was a student. And so that I found to be really valuable. Yeah, they mentioned research, study abroad. Of course, we also have service learning and leadership and internship. And so any of those that you want to complete, you can do any of them at any time at Elon. And to get credit for them as your experiential learning requirement, you do a little bit of that reflection piece that the students identified as being so critical to really getting the most out of it. There's often a workbook involved, but those are all really great experiences and ways to make the most out of college, kind of like we were talking about at the beginning.
So another big part of learning at Elon is obviously your major. So yes, we have this Elon core curriculum, and in addition to that, we have all of our major courses. So Lauren, could you just talk about maybe your experience in choosing a major, why you chose that major, what drew you to that?
Sure. First off, I just want to say, if you don't know what you want to major in, that's completely fine. Coming into college, I thought I wanted to be a physical therapist. And with that being said, I was always told exercise science is the way to go. So I started off, I was in Exercise Science 101 and just loved my class, loved my professor. I continued on with the major. And this past summer, I did my practicum, which allowed me to shadow 3 different individuals in the healthcare field. And it was such a great experience. I ended up shadowing a neurosurgeon and his PA, and I just really loved it. And a lot of the classes to get to PA school and medical school were under exercise science, which I'd already been taking classes for. And so I just decided to continue with the major with additional prereqs for grad school.
Cool. Evan, do you have any sort of advice on choosing your major and how you kind of got to where you are now?
Yeah, so I came into college thinking that I wanted to be a psychology major. I took intro to psychology. I loved it. So I ended up staying on that route. But I also knew that there was something specific that I was really interested in, that was leadership. And I always was very interested in leadership as a field and leadership studies. And I was like, wow, there's a minor called leadership studies. And being able to couple leadership studies with my psychology major has really allowed me to kind of do this interdisciplinary study in that I'm combining my 2 passions. And I don't think I would have been able to enjoy or really become passionate about my psychology major as much as I am if I didn't find that minor to complement it. So it's really important you don't have to focus completely on your major. Taking courses in what you're interested in and things that you're passionate about can lead to, a realization about your major or changing your major. And I think Lauren made a very, very good point in that you do not need to know what you want to major in going into college, and you might not know after your first year. You don't have to declare till the end of your sophomore year. But what's important is that you come in with an open mind and that you're actively trying to find that class and that field that really sparks that interest with you.
Great. So we will go ahead and take some of the questions that we have. Is there a book that we're supposed to read before coming to campus?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So Elon has what's called the Common Reading Program. So it's a shared reading and a shared intellectual experience that kind of spans across the entire first year. So the book this year is by Martin Luther King Jr. It's called Why We Can't Wait. It's a great book, and it'll allow us as a campus to delve deeper into a range of issues that are shared across society, related to civil rights, related to freedom, related to effective communication skills and leadership strategies and all sorts of things. So I'm really excited. We have some great campus visitors coming related to the book this year. So yes, please, before you show up for orientation, please have read the book so that you'll understand what all your classmates are talking about.
Yeah, and where might you see that book used in the classroom? Like what sort of classes will that come up?
That's a great question. It'll be spread around in a lot of places, most prominently in your global experience course, Core 110. Some will also see it in Elon 101. Some will also see it in English 110s. You'll certainly see it in the residential, in your residence halls and programming related to that. So it's kind of sprinkled around in a lot of different places. And it won't be the same in all those places either. The conversation moves over time.
And in case you're wondering what sorts of questions we might be asking when you get here about the Common Reading, in a couple weeks, we're going to be sending out a big information packet with a lot of orientation related information. And we're also going to include a little bit more information about the Common Reading and some prompts that might get you thinking about on a deeper level, kind of what does that book mean? What is its kind of purpose for us as a community? Why should we be talking about it? And just kind of get you thinking about some of those conversations that you might have in the fall.
So maybe another question that might touch on that a little bit about the information. How and when do we get information about clubs and organizations?
Definitely. So you can start looking into some of those things over the summer. If you visit our Are You Ready site and go to the orientation link there, you can follow the link to student activities and look at some of those organizations and clubs that we have on Elon's campus to start to get an idea of what we have and what you might be interested in. But then when you come to campus in the fall, on the second Friday of the semester, we have a huge event called the Organization Fair. And that's when over 200 organizations set up a table outside on Young Commons, which is right out that window that you can't see, but just right over there. And it's where the members of those organizations are welcoming folks. They're ready to see you. They're ready to give information. You can sign your name on interest lists. You don't have to commit to anything at that time, but it's a great way to meet new people, also get some information. And if you're not ready to, sometimes it's a little overwhelming to think about joining things right away. There's also an organization fair later on in the spring. So after you kind of get through the fall semester and feel it out with your classes and the academics and whatnot, and then think about getting involved in things in the spring, that's okay too, and plenty of students do that.
Yeah, that was actually one of my favorite things to happen my first year. Just like the energy that's going on the commons outside is so much fun, and it just makes you want to sign up for everything. But then you also have to remember that you're taking classes, so time management is a big one.
Yeah. Don't sign up for everything.
Yeah, don't sign up for everything.
Two or three.
Another one which hopefully we'll be able to answer. If I get a 4 on the AP Spanish exam, do I still need to take the placement test?
So I'll answer that in kind of a broad way, so that all such AP questions are answered. So if you go to the Advising Center's website, there's in the registrar's office as well, there's a link that goes to a sheet that has all the AP scores and what they translate into in terms of what courses they count for. So that will take care of all of those, that whole species of question. That would be my first advice. And then, but the Advising Center is working to build schedules over the summer, and they're gonna know all of that stuff, and they're gonna put you in the right level of class that you need, and so you'll be taken care of. You'll be taken care of one way or another.
Yeah, and maybe we can just touch on the placement test itself. What is that used for? When do I take it? What kind of information can we get on that?
Yeah. So the World Language Placement Test is something that we use to help, as it sounds, place students into the appropriate level language. And so I believe it's available online until June 1st. After that, you'll be able to take it when you come to campus in the fall, and it's open through October, I believe. And so if you don't get a chance to take, well, June 1st is past. Look at that. We're in June already. So if you haven't had a chance to take it already, you can do it when you get here in the fall. It'll be available in the language lab We'll have it in the orientation schedule so you know exactly when you can go. And it's you kind of just walk in and take it, and that's how we know that you're getting the appropriate level of challenge in your language course.
Yeah, I'll say a word about that. So we're a campus that cares a lot about global citizenship and students' ability to interact in effective ways with other cultures. And so we've got the Global Experience course in the first year, and then students engage with world languages and hopefully deepen themselves in that regard, and then study abroad. So there's kind of a developmental progression there. So I hope that people will see the value of the language and languages and studying them, regardless of where you place, and see some benefit to delving deeper, because that's something that we do care about.
We also have students who start a new language, regardless of what you took in high school. If you'd rather start something new, you can do that too.
And Dr. Coker, actually just what you were talking about, how taking that skill of the foreign language that we learn here and taking it abroad, is a question that we got in, asking, how does the foreign language department take steps to over-prepare students for studying abroad? And I know from my experience, because I studied abroad in a country that has a foreign language, my program did not actually have a language requirement, which was very useful for me. So I was able to take my French courses here at Elon and get an idea of what the language was going to be like. And then when I was abroad in France, I was able to enroll in more language classes, which were more effective to conversational French and actual French in the country of France. So I think that the foreign language department really, or the world languages department really does a good job of helping you prepare for the language that you're going to be working on. And they definitely help you take the right steps to get in that direction.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely correct. And we have a wide range of types of study abroad experiences, so that students can find what is developmentally appropriate for them, based on interests and based on language levels and based on length of time that they're able to be abroad, whether it be a winter term or a semester. So if you're able to deepen yourself in a language and then go and take a study abroad in that language, that's fantastic. That's not always practical for everybody to be, fluent in French and able to say engage with in French in France. But there's a program for you at whatever level you are. Just get as deep as you can.
Yeah, I definitely think that's so true, especially in my case. Another question that we have: why do I have to take classes in subjects that I'm not so good at?
Okay. I'll take this one. So I think this is really important, because everyone has a comfort zone, no doubt about it. You're interested in certain things. In high school, you might have realized some things you're good at, some things you're not so good at, some things you're interested in, some things you might not like as much. But you come to college, you come to Elon, and it's a whole different context. And learning at a college level, especially at Elon, is a lot different from learning in high school. And going out of your comfort zone is one of the most important things you can learn how to do and refine at college. So taking classes that may not interest you, there's a lot of things that can come out of that. First of all, you may become interested in it. You may have a great professor, or it might be completely different from what you anticipated. And that could lead to, I know people who hated something, took a class in it, and it became their major. And because it's a completely different context, completely different professor. But another thing, even if doesn't become your career or your major, no matter what the course is, it has value. It allows you to think from a different perspective, allows you to work on your critical thinking skills and work on some sort of skill that you might not focus on in your major classes, because you're so focused on learning that content because you want to make a career out of it or things like that. So I think what being at a liberal arts institution is just that. It's going out of your comfort zone by taking courses all throughout the spectrum, things that are in your major, the Elon core curriculum, everything, because that's going to allow you to expand, your own learning and your own skills. And that is kind of the essence of what learning at Elon is.
Yeah, I'll add a couple of things quickly. One, real world problems rarely just involve one field. They always involve a bunch of complicated things that kind of mesh together, and you have to know about a range of things in order to really make progress on big problems. And the other is, I'll share with you something I was doing last night, and that was finding. I was looking through my rosters from like 8 years ago in my introductory science classes for non-science majors, and looking at what they were doing now, looking at LinkedIn and just surfing the internet. And I found journalists winning awards, writing science-related stories, and elementary school teachers who had become like the science specialists in the area and stuff. And these are people that might have been kind of afraid of science when they entered my classroom before. And I wasn't trying to win over majors or anything. I was just trying to give people a great, really, I promise. But it's useful. It's useful to know about a range of things. It's important.
Yeah, I agree with that. Another question, when and where should I get my textbooks?
Well, I can make an answer to that, but the students, I mean, you all know. I mean, I would say from what I've heard from our students and what I remember as a student here too is the bookstore is the place to go. The bookstore is going to have the exact edition that you need. As far as once you get your schedule, which you'll find on OnTrack, you can click back on OnTrack and it'll tell you also what books you need for your classes. And so then it'll link to the bookstore and tell you exactly what those are. And you can, I believe you can pre-order them, and then pick them up at the bookstore when you get here. And there will be time for you to do that during orientation.
Wonderful. We have another question about orientation. Hi, I'm an international student from Brazil, and I would like to know if I have to get to campus earlier than other students for some special kind of orientation and how that will be.
Absolutely. Great question. I actually just met with the Global Education Center folks today to talk about just this, International Student Orientation. So first of all, glad you're watching. Hi, yes. Yes, you will arrive early. You'll get some information in that packet that I mentioned that's coming to you in about 2 weeks. Might take 3 to go to Brazil, but you'll get it. And you'll move in on the Tuesday before opening. So I believe that's the 18th. The 18th of August, you'll come and you'll do some more specific things to get acclimated to the area, and anything that you need to do just to before we actually start our Elon orientation. So stuff about visas, driver's license, getting a bank account set up and all those sorts of things, making a few runs to a store for bedding and to grocery, anything that you might need to get settled in here. And then on Friday, when the other students arrive, you'll fold into our new student orientation program. So you'll actually have kind of an extended orientation, and classes start the following Tuesday. So you'll have a full week to really get prepared. You'll know some other people, some other international students, and you'll know the folks in your orientation group. So by the time classes start, you feel hopefully pretty comfortable.
Thank you, Katie. Lauren, maybe you could answer this one. Do many students double major or minor, and how many times can I change my major?
Funny you say that. So many people I know double major, everyone saying, oh, I'm majoring in this with a minor in this. So yes, a lot of people have time to double major or find a minor that they like. And I know your first time that you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I know the first time you declare your major, you do it online. And after that, I'm pretty sure you can change your major as many times as you want. And that happens quite often. But after the first time, you're sent to speak to someone about that, correct?
Yeah.
I think that's how the process works.
Right,
Yes.
yeah, you talk to your academic advisor and just go on with that process.
I think an important note on that is you have your advisor, who's a great resource. You have them right when you get to Elon, and they can really help you figure out how you can fit all these things into your schedule. You make a 4-year plan. So it totally depends on the majors and the minors, because some just have more coursework than others. But you have so many resources at Elon to help you figure that out and make sure that you're not overloading yourself and that you're gonna graduate on time and you'll have time to sleep a few hours. But no, it's you'll figure it out, and you'll have the resources to help you figure it out. So you can definitely fit in majors and minors depending on what they are.
And I'll just, Evan mentioned that you have an advisor when you come in. The person who's your Elon 101 instructor will serve as your academic advisor until you declare a major, and then you'll have a faculty advisor within your discipline. And just like Evan said, you are not alone in trying to figure out how to map out your 4 years here, or your 3 years, or your 5 years, or however long you're at Elon. You'll work on a graduation plan. And so in Elon 101 in the fall, you'll have it's basically a blank sheet, which I think can be somewhat of an overwhelming blank sheet at first, but you work together with your advisor on the Elon core curriculum and the things that you want to integrate from that, as well as your major or potential major if you're not sure, and you'll really get to visually see how it all comes together in 4 years, and integrating other things too, perhaps study abroad or an internship and things like that. So rest assured, it's not something that everybody has figured out when they come, and most probably change their minds at some point, I would say.
Yeah. And just to touch on the academic advisor, my academic advisor is one of my biggest mentors on Elon's campus, and I think it's because I really utilized that relationship and really reached out to my advisor to make sure I was on the right track, not only with my academic life, but also in my outside of the classroom life too. That advisor is a really great resource to use for any sort of problem you might be having on campus. So I really am very proud to have my academic advisor. A great question that we have for our students here: what are some of your favorite Elon traditions?
Ooh, great question. Okay. Do you have one in mind? Do you want to go first? Or?
Let's see.
That's not.
You have
Okay,
one.
I got it. Okay, so one great tradition we have at Elon is come holiday season, we all get invited to President Lambert's house for a Christmas, for a holiday dinner, and it's so awesome. He invites the entire student body, so everyone is there. You get to take a picture with him. Great food, awesome house, and it's just really cool that the president of the university invites everyone, into his home and wants to engage with the students on just like a social level, and just to talk with them and to see them outside of the the university and academic sphere. So that's a really, really cool tradition that I enjoy.
My favorite Elon tradition is definitely college coffee. Tuesday mornings, there's a specific time block where no one has class, and so students go out and have coffee. Sometimes there's donuts, professors are out there, people perform. It's really different each Tuesday, but it just really gives you a chance to just kind of talk about different things outside of the classroom. And it's just a really nice time to just engage with both professors and your peers.
Cool. I think my favorite Elon tradition is probably receiving the acorn when you first get to campus, and then getting your oak sapling when you graduate to leave campus. I just think that says so much, not only like the growth that happens while you're at college, but then you get to plant an oak tree somewhere, and like just the memories of the oak trees at Elon. I think that'll be really cool. So something I'm looking forward to for next year. All right, and another great question. Tell me a little bit more about orientation, and what should I be doing now to prepare for Elon?
Well, that's a big question. A little bit more about orientation. Well, I don't want to give too much away because it's coming in that packet. I keep mentioning that. No, but orientation is a 4-day process, and it's really aimed to help prepare you for your experience at Elon. And so we cover everything from the nuts and bolts, kind of those logistics, what's the Phoenix card, what's the meal plan, how do I get my parking pass, where are the buildings located, all those sorts of things to help you feel comfortable, to kind of that relationship piece. We've talked about that a lot. So let's help you get to know some of your peers. You'll get to know people in your orientation group, people that you're living with in your neighborhood, some faculty members and staff as you interact in different programs through orientation. And then also there's the formal academic welcome into the university. So Marley mentioned getting the acorn. That happens after new student convocation, which is when you'll hear from the president. That's really like the formal, as I said, the formal academic welcome. In orientation sessions, you'll meet with a current student who's an orientation leader, and they'll talk a little bit more about all those things I just mentioned. but very specifically kind of that academic preparation, the common reading will probably come up that we mentioned, the honor code, and just generally some of those expectations and values that we have. So what should you be doing now? I think if you're watching this, that's exactly what you should be doing now.
Step one.
Yes, step one is engage with our Are You Ready site. That's really something we put together that it's kind of all there. It's the go-to spot for anything you need to know, kind of actions that are required of you, but also some of the things that we want you to be thinking about in terms of just that entering an intellectual climate and what are we all about here at Elon. The Are You Ready site is really, it's really where you find all that. So that if you're watching this, I think you're doing exactly what you need to be doing. Read the common reading. Don't forget that. And you'll probably, as we get closer to August, once you learn where you're living and what your classes are, then you'll have a few more action steps to take there. Probably find your roommate on Facebook and start talking about what you're going to bring.
Yeah, I would say also check your Elon email.
Yes.
Because I didn't know that I was getting emails to that. And I checked it maybe a week before I came here, and that was that.
Yeah.
All right. So one last question we have. We are a little late to this event. Will we be able to watch this event later in its entirety?
Yes. Yes, you will.
So the recording will be on the Are You Ready website. So feel free to go check that out anytime. The whole thing will be up there. And it's been great talking with all of you. We had a wonderful talk. I hope that you all feel informed. And please stay tuned for the next one.
July 8th, 8 p.m.
All right.
All right. We'll see you.